Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham, Chapter 38, Explanation of Bagalamukhi Worship. On the way, during our journey to Pitikapuram, we came across a sannyasi. He sat at the foot of an audumbar tree. His eyes were lustrous. While we were approaching him, he asked us whether we were Shankar Bhatt and Dharmagupta. We replied in the affirmative. He asked us to take rest for some time at the foot of that audumbar tree. He asked whether the leather sandals of Sripada Srivallabha were with us. We replied in the affirmative. He further advised that we should give those leather sandals to him in exchange for the gem of the black cobra that he had. We agreed. I asked him, "Sir, ever since I had the intention of writing the divine bibliography of Sripada, I have been coming across the devotees of Sripada who have been narrating a particular incident that happened in a particular year of Sripada. What might be the reason for this?" The sannyasi said, Sripada is a combined personification of Adi Bhairav and Adi Brahma. He is Kala Bhairava, who commands time. He is a personification of time, Kala Purusha. Kala Purusha is not different from him. He is the form of Mahakal. He only knows when and what incidents should take place. So, it is impossible for those who are captives of the place and time to figure out the kind of result of Sripada. Playing with the space and time is like a ball game for him. All living beings, their evolutionary process, the natures of those living beings, their duties, their properties, their results and their influence and are under his control. He can turn a person who is proud that he is a great scholar to an ignorant one within seconds. He can turn a great ignorous into a great scholar well versed in Veda and Vedangas. He is a rich yogic incarnation. To be able to recognize him as an incarnated avatar and as verily Lord Datta, huge masses of sin must be burnt out and heaps of merit must be occurred. This is the general condition. However, if his mercy and begins look showered, he would protect the devotees ignoring these common conditions. He reveals in the sportive place each and every moment. For those who study Charithamrutham of Sripada, an evolutionary program will occur in an orderly way. Therefore, one or two incidents in an year of his life were informed to you. They were also intimated to you in an orderly manner. All this is an integral part of his divine sport. It is a mistake to think that he incarnated only for the evolution of the globe. Many million universes are created, maintained and destroyed every moment. The entire evolutionary process of all this remain in the hands at all times, in the depth of his divine eyes. Millions and millions of universes develop and get destroyed. This is his real nature, the highest nature which has no form and state of which cannot be known when it is not expressed. He manifested in a human form in Pitikapuram. This itself is a great miracle. After incarnating, where is the end for his playful pastimes? Even the Vedas remain silent, unable to describe him. His knowledge is infinite. The knowledge of Vedas is limited. His power is infinite. Grace infinite. He is present in all places at all times. He is the truth unto truth, wisdom unto wisdom, and infinity unto infinity, which is much beyond reach. Worship of Bagalamukhi. In fact, I am a resident of Bengal. I am a devotee of Bagalamukhi. She is one among the 10 Mahavidyas. Those who want the destruction of enemies at the individual level worship Bagalamukhi. The power of destruction of Parameshwara in its comprehensive form is also Bagalamukhi. By the worship of Bagalamukhi, the perfection of speech can be achieved. It means that whosoever leads a righteous life and observes the unity of mind, speech, and action, whichever would they speak will come true. These are the three types of speech: Para, Pashyanti, and Madhyama. In Satyuga, a terrible storm devastating the whole world broke out. Lord Vishnu, seeing the plight of the living beings, became sad. When he undertook penance, goddess Sri Vidya Mahadevi emerged in the form of Bagalamukhi. She appeared before Lord Vishnu and pacified the storm which was causing destruction. Some people considered her as Vasavi Devi. She was born during the night hours of Chaturdasi on a Tuesday. She is the personification of the power of immobilization. The solar system is stable only on account of her. Heaven is also kept in its place in the same way. She can grant comfort of this world as well as the other worlds. She obstructs any evil force that attempt to create chaos in the life of the spiritual seeker. Similarly, she immobilizes the blind and dark forces and grants protection to ensure the progress of the aspirant. She is also called Bhadabamukhi, Jatavedamukhi, Ukalamukhi, Jwalamukhi, and Bruhad Bhanumukhi. In fact, Lord Brahma is the foremost one who practiced Bagalamukhi Vidya. Lord Brahma saw this Mahadevi in the form of Bala in Tirumala and adored her. He worshipped this goddess as Sri Venkateshwara with this consort Sri Padmavati and started the Brahmotsav celebration. Lord Brahma taught this Mahavidya to Shankara and other sages. Vishnu is among those who worshipped Bagalamukhi. Parashurama also worshipped this goddess. In my pilgrimage, I came to Pitikapuram. I visited the Sri Kukuteshwara temple. Then I saw a charming young boy. The boy said to me, "I know that you have come from Bengal. For a very long time, until recently, I was imprisoned in this temple under the name of Swayambhudatta. I was very much suffocated. I felt terrible clarity. So I requested the priest to render me services which make me cool. They refused it. I said that I will go out because there is no alternative. They said that instead of my going out, they would drive me out. Therefore, I came out a short while ago." I understood the inner meaning of his word. I understood that he was verily Lord Datta himself, and that worship and devotional services were not properly offered to him with due care and diligence. It is also clear that since he had never observed untouchability, and as Orthodox Brahmins did not allow untouchables into the temple, he incarnated to personally save miserable, obsessed, and distressed ones. I requested him to give me darshan in the form of my devotional deity and gratify me. The Supreme Lord smiled. I saw the great goddess Sri Bhagala. These physical eyes cannot see such great brilliance. I fainted. Some kind people who were there arranged a carpet beneath the tree and laid me down on it. In reality, I did not faint. He gave an experience of supreme bliss. I enjoyed that divine happiness for 8 days. My heartbeat and pulse stopped. People did not understand my situation. The account of the sannyasi. My episode created an uproar in Pitikapuram. Rumors spread that some Brahmin sannyasi entered the Sri Kukuteshwara temple and visited the self-manifested Datta. The rumor mentioned that he was a mean magician who tried to employ the witchcraft on the Kukuteshvara and self-manifested Datta, but on account of the rigorous, disciplined conduct and regulations of the priest, the power of Kukuteshvara and self-manifested Datta did not dwindle. And from the negative results that followed, the sannyasi fainted and lied without pulse and heartbeat. Rumors generally spread widely very quickly in Pitikapuram. People in Pitikapuram were great experts in commenting truth as untruth and untruth as truth and make others believe them. Sripada Srivallabha, who incarnated amidst them, was much more dexterous than all of them. All the happenings here gave great entertainment to him. He is the one who rejoiced externally, a divine revealer. The importance of the priest enhanced in Pitikapuram. The world travelled by their discipline and ecstasy. A black magician fainted and remained like a corpse. It was said that by taking the help of the priest, all affiliations would be removed, and that by performing special pujas through them, much greater welfare would be accumulated. Pujas were commenced by the priest. Liberally, monetary gifts were given to Brahmins. Suddenly, a worry started among the priests. They were worshipping the great extortion of the idol, the self-manifested Datta and Kukuteshvara. As a result, they were getting various kinds of food donations and generous monetary donations. They were saving this money in the boxes in their houses, but it was disappearing by morning. Since they agreed to conduct the worship, they had to perform them compulsorily daily, but the money earned were disappearing. Not only that, even though plenty of food donations were given, and even though they ate in great quantities, they were feeling weak and exhausted. It was quite strange that they became weak and that their money kept disappearing. If they were to disclose the truth about these happenings, they would have to face embarrassment situations. Since it was widely propagated that the priests were great experts in mantra, tantra, shastra, if the fact that they were subjected to the influence of an Yakshini were to be known to others, it would damage their honor. Therefore, the Brahmins kept these matters to themselves and did not relieve them to anyone. They decided to know whether the fainted sannyasi was alive or dead, and to cremate him if he was dead. They placed this matter before Bapanaraya. Then Sri Bapanaraya examined the body of the sannyasi and announced that the sannyasi neither dead or fainted, but he was in a state of samadhi. Some people thought that if the body of the sannyasi was cremated without caring for the words of Sri Bapanaraya, the evil effects of the Yakshini would be eradicated. Some others said that if he were to be cremated, the powers of the sannyasi would violently flourish and would create many more calamities. My body was not cremated only on the account of a peculiar resolve of Sripada. I became normal after 8 days. Sripada touched my head with his divine auspicious hands. None of the Brahmins gave me alms. Boarding and lodging were provided to me in Sripetikapuram in the house of some shepherds. Since I did not follow the caste restrictions, all the shepherds became friends to me. Among these shepherds, there was a woman named Lakshmi. Her husband used to treat her with great love. He was not only the chief of those shepherds, but was also acting as a judge to settle disputes in that caste. Though young, since he was educated, he used to read property documents and make allotments as written in those documents, and used to attend to the graftly matters related to the lands. Therefore, his caste people elected him as the chief even though he was young. His wife Lakshmi was a devoted wife. She became a widow 4 or 5 years ago. Since I knew the greatness of Sripada, I told Lakshmi that she would be benefited if she had some relationship with Sripada. In the meanwhile, the cow in the house of Sri Pinda Venkatappa Shrestri stopped giving milk. So Lakshmi used to bring milk to the house of the Sri Sresti. Sripada used to come to the house of Sri Sresti often. Even before he asking, "Grandmother, I am hungry," Venkata Subbamma used to heat the milk and give it to Sripada. In addition, she used to give cream and butter. Whenever Lakshmi brought milk to the house of Sri Sresti, Sripada used to say that he was very hungry. Venkata Subbamma asked Lakshmi to bring some milk. If Lakshmi were to bring some more milk to Sri Sresti's house, would be depleted and she would need to drink watery buttermilk. Even then, Lakshmi, who had the spirit of sacrifice, was selling to the house of Sri Sresti the milk that she kept for drinking and other consumption. The story of Puran Pandit. In meanwhile, a Pandit who conducted discourses on Puranas came to the town. The Brahmins in Sri Pitikapuram said the Puranas were meant for Shudras and not for superior Brahmins like them, and that they already knew all the Puranas. Sri Bappanaraya, Sri Sresti and Sri Verma offered to give some money to the Pandit. It was agreed that all Shudras in the town could attend the Pandit's discourse on the Puranas. Not only that, it was announced through the beat of the drums that Shudras could give monetarily offerings to the Puranic Pandit. Some among the Brahmins suggested that half of the amount given by Shudras to the Pandit should be credited to the council of Brahmins, and the remaining half could be taken by the Pandit. For that, Bappanaraya rebuked them by saying, "This is called begging from beggar. You said that you would not even listen to the Puranas. On the other hand, you are trying to snatch away the hard-earned money of the Pandit who is taking the trouble of giving the discourse. If you do not change your behavior or the way of thinking, you will have to experience severe punishment from the Kala Purusha in the future." Meals were arranged for the Pandit in the house of Bappanaraya. Lakshmi used to give him boiled milk before commencement of the Puranic discourse. After drinking the milk, he used to start the discourse on the Puranas. Sripada Srivallabha resides in the heart of all, so there is nothing that is not known to him. The Pandit was a great jnani and great yogi. With his yogic powers, found that other forms assumed by his soul. He attracted the consciousness in those forms into himself. He then found his soul was in form of an infant aged 4 months in the house of a Brahmin zamindar. While Lakshmi was giving milk to him, he saw her with yogic vision and came to know that his soul will be the husband of Lakshmi in the next birth. It meant that the above infant form will be the husband of Lakshmi in her next birth. All the masculine form of his soul was already merged in the Pandit, who was their essential basic nature. When he searched with his yogic insight for the feminine form, he understood that Lakshmi was the external basic nature of all his feminine forms. He also noticed that all his feminine natures were already merged in Lakshmi. He felt that his 4-month faint form, after living for few more months, were to come to an end. Then any of his remaining karma would come to an end. He came to Pitikapuram as a Pandit to fulfill his karma bonds with Pitikapuram. Lakshmi was very fond of her husband. She understood that the consciousness of a husband could not leave his old body. She found many times that the form of a husband stood beside her. People donated cows to cross the Vajra river. She knew that the cow who took her husband safely across the Vajra river took birth again as a cow on the earth. She knew this because she was a cow. The all-knowing Sripada very well knew that consciousness of the husband of Lakshmi who crossed the Vajra river remained merged in the Pandit, who was basically essential nature of the former. However, the Pandit came to Pitikapuram with a decision to fulfill his karmic bonds of the indebtedness, to liquidate the karmas of the other forms of his soul through his yogic strength and merge with the Almighty. If the Pandit were to merge with the Almighty, then the infant of the Brahmin Zamindar would also die. If it was to happen like that, then Lakshmi in her next birth would have to live and die as a virgin, since that Brahmin boy who had been her husband in that birth would have already died before her preceding birth. Lakshmi had an intense desire have a next birth. Therefore, after the fall of his mortal body and after she regains the state of consciousness, she would be born in a righteous Brahmin family. Her husband was the infant of Jamindar, must grow up to be an adult. Alas, Lakshmi was innocent. Without being aware of all this, she was conducting Ardhanarishwara Yoga. All this was the supportive play of Sripada. The drama called Disclose of Puranas concluded. The Pandit accepted the monetary gift from the Shudras. Lakshmi was born in the Shudra caste. Since the Pandit accepted the connection with the Shudras, he thought that his bond of karmas with the Shudras redeemed. He wanted to burn away any remaining bonds of karma through the fire of yoga. Since he took meals in the house of Sri Bappanaraya, he felt that his bond of indebtedness relating to his Brahmin birth would be remedied. Sri Bappanaraya went inside the house to bring some monetary harmonium to that great yogi. In the meanwhile, Lakshmi came to the house of Sri Bappanaraya. A cow in the house of Lakshmi delivered a calf. She bought milk from that cow to Sri Bappanaraya's house for the preparation of pellicle cheese. Lakshmi had great devotion and care for Sripada. Sri Bappanaraya gave the harmonial to the Pandit. The Pandit sought permission to leave. Sripada said, "All the people gave permission for you to leave. Only 2 persons refused to give permission to leave. I am well versed in the account of the traders. Unless final settlement of understanding, debit and its repayment, you cannot leave Pitikapuram." The Brahmin was agitated. He heard previously that Sripada Srivallabha was the incarnation of Datta. Sripada said, "My dear, this Lakshmi is innocent. She will live only for few years. What should become of her after that? You were born as a Brahmin with your form of wisdom and as a shepherd who was Lakshmi's husband with your form of ignorance. Lakshmi had shared happiness and miseries with you in that shepherd form. The consciousness in the shepherd form, which had crossed the Vajra river along with the cow, returned freely again to the earth. The lady retained the consciousness of her husband with her intense fire of love. The consciousness which is in the form of shepherdess will change after few years, following the demise of her body, into a Brahmin consciousness. She is a Brahmin in the shape of shepherdess. You are a shepherd in the shape of Brahmin. I know very well about your karmic relationship. I am the personification of Padmavati Devi, and I bless this lady who will be taken birth in future as a Brahmin lady by putting a golden mark on her forehead. I created a Mangalya also for her and preserved it in the Hiranyaloka. When the connection with the gold is snapped, the connection of the wife with her husband will also be snapped. Therefore, I safely preserved her golden auspicious wedding ornaments in Hiranyaloka. When your consciousness, which is at present encased in an infant of a few months, is withdrawn, any demon may take possession of the body and do bad deeds. So do not redemit the debt of karma relationship with her. Instead, take a donation of gold from this woman and retain the bond of karma with her. In the next birth, you will live as an ideal couple and will become my devotees and will be liberated. Saying so, Sripada blessed them. My children, the Brahmin infant will grow up. Lakshmi will take birth in a Brahmin family and will become his wife. The sportive play of Sripada are indeed wonderful. Here we come to end of chapter 38 of Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham. Om Sai Ram.